Hey everybody! Well, if you've been watching our channel for a while, you probably know that my wife and I run a boutique mini resort here in Loreto, Mexico in Baja California Sur. And today I'm going to talk about how we set up our resort and would we do anything differently after a year of running it. We're Douglas and Esperanza, and we decided to leave our lives in the U.S. and move to magical Loreto, Mexico, where we built our boutique resort, Pufferfish Villas, from the ground up and work running it and saving to expand in the future. Please come with us to follow our journey and live before you die. So for those of you who are new to the channel, I'm Douglas, and my wife Esperanza and I bought property in Loreto, Mexico, which is in Baja California Sur, north of La Paz, and we built a mini boutique resort, Pufferfish Villas, which we've been renting for almost a year now through our own website and through the traditional Airbnb, VRBO, and originally Booking.com, but we'll talk about that later on in the video. So we had stayed at many different places in Mexico and all around the world, so we were familiar with going to vacation places and staying in really nice hotels and houses, and we had an idea what we would see as our perfect place to go and rent when you're going on vacation, and that's really what we tried to build here at Pufferfish Villas. So before we ever even got started, we had to sit down and decide what type of a business model do we want to have. And from that, I mean, we want a high touch, full hotel model where you have staff on site 24 hours, you have a desk person on 24 hours to greet people, or did we want to go to a full Airbnb model where we're renting a standalone building, we are not there, there's no one there, it's all self check-in, self check-out. If you have any problems, you can get a hold of anybody, but it's very hands-off. A lot of people that have the Airbnb model don't even live anywhere near their Airbnb. So it's a very low-touch model where you are not involved with a day-to-day operation of the rental when people are renting. So here in Mexico, especially in Loreto where we are, there are all types of models. So there are the standalone Airbnb, the people live in the US and they rent a house here, and they usually have some type of property management here that can handle big things like the water pipe bursts or something like that. But other than that, it's self check-in, self check-out, and it's a full Airbnb model. Now there are several other levels of business model here in Loreto that are very common. Now, one of them is what I would call a motel business model. And that's where people have a motel type business, maybe 6 to 15 units, and there's somebody around, but they aren't at a front desk all the time. Maybe you can call them and they live nearby or something like that to check in. There's quite a few. Usually those are more the local Mexican businesses that run that type of a model. So the other model that's fairly popular here is the live together business model. This is a model that seems very popular with Americans and Canadians who come down here and start a rental business. Now, most of the time these businesses will be units kind of like ours, 2, 3, 4, up to maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 units. And the model is that the owners live on the property and live together with the people who are renting. A lot of people like that kind of model here, and a lot of people like to stay in that type of model. That type of business model is very time intensive for the owners because every time somebody is arriving, you have to block out a half hour or 45 minutes of time so that you can greet them and take them around and show them all the areas of your property and get them checked into their room, get them their keys or whatever they need. They also have, of course, full hotels, resort hotels, all that here. But that really didn't fit for what we were looking for, because we started out with 2 units, which we have now, and we eventually want to go to 5 units. Well, with 2 units, it wouldn't make no sense whatsoever to have a full-time desk person at some type of a front desk, because a lot of times we have check-in and check-outs once a week. So we wanted a lower touch model where it is a self check-in model like Airbnb is, and the guests could arrive, self check in, and then we provide them with all the information they need about our property and our resort in our guest book, so that hopefully they're able to figure everything out on their own. So unlike a standalone Airbnb house where you go there, you're the only person on the property, and so if you mess up the pool area, if you make a huge mess and leave all your stuff everywhere, it's your rental, you're there by yourself, so it doesn't really matter. You can do whatever you want. So we are kind of in between, where we have multiple guests using the same common areas, and so we want to keep those common areas very nice and kept up all the time. And so if one guest is a little messy or goes out and moves everything around, I go down every morning and clean that up, organize everything, clean everything up, so that all the other guests have the same good experience every single day. So this puts us kind of into an in-between type business model. We wanted our guests to feel like this is their place. When they're staying there, it is theirs. We don't intrude into their space. We don't intrude into the common areas unless we're doing maintenance or anything. So it's more of a private type feel, more like you're renting your own house, but you are with multiple units. So that's kind of how we set up our business. So our main duties, how we have it set up now, Esperanza, of course, still sources all of the supplies and materials that we need. So soaps and when linens and towels get damaged, we've got new ones, and she continually is looking for new ones to buy. I handle all of the maintenance, so landscape maintenance, pool maintenance, and maintenance on the villas. So to successfully run this type of a low touch business model, you have to have everything automated as much as possible. And so our driveway gate is automated and has a key code to enter. Our walk-in gate door is automated and has a key code to enter. Our laundry room door, which guests can access the laundry room and use the laundry facilities, has a keypad code entry on the door, and all the villas have a keypad entry on the doors. So before guests arrive, they're sent the codes to all the gate, the walk-in gate, the laundry room, the code to their villa. The villa door codes change with every guest, and I have to right now program those manually. There is a service that can actually work with our property management software, and it can actually program a code for every single guest when they book, and then automate that and send them the code in their email. But right now that costs money, and right now I just prefer to manually create codes for each guest, and then we send them a welcome email with the codes in it a week before they're going to arrive. And so this automation allows for most of the time guests to show up here, get into the property, get into their villa, and be able to do everything they need to without having any interaction with us if they don't want to. And we do have quite a few guests that we never physically meet them or talk to them the entire time they're here. I'm down there in the morning, every morning, cleaning up and doing my maintenance duties. And if guests want to talk or they want to interact, they'll come out and talk to me, and that's awesome. A lot of guests don't, and they never interact with us, and that's totally fine with us too. So how do we handle the business side of booking guests and all of the other things involved with getting people booked and reserved and into the property. 70% of our bookings right now are through our own direct website. And if you guys are thinking about coming and staying here, that's the best way. It's the least expensive way. We have a very modern website. You can book right from the website. You can pay on your credit card. It's all secure, done through Stripe, which is a worldwide credit card processor, and very easy, just like any other hotel booking site that you've been on. Now, we do also book on Airbnb and VRBO. We used to book on booking.com, but they were not a very good fit because they are really set up for a big hotel, multi-unit hotel, and they just do not work too well in our situation. So we ended up getting rid of booking.com. So we have Airbnb and VRBO still, and we do book through those. I consider Airbnb and VRBO a channel where we can get new guests that know nothing about our property or our story. If anyone knows about our property or our story from YouTube, or they've gone to our website, you'd be much better to book through the website because it's cheaper for you per night. We charge less, $10 less a night over our website, and you don't have to pay an Airbnb fee, which is I think 5% still. And you'll have to pay that. VRBO is the same way. They charge the guest a fee on top of a $10 more booking price. And the reason for the $10 more price on Airbnb and VRBO is because we have to pay 13% of the booking back to Airbnb. Airbnb has been instrumental and very helpful to get new guests that don't know about us, help them find our property. But I would say the majority, over half of our guests, have come from our YouTube channel, and those guests are mostly booking through our direct booking website, pufferfishvillas.com, which is where I would definitely say to go to book. Now, we use a property management software called Lodgify, and this is how we keep everything in sync. So a big problem that people have with having your own website and having Airbnb and VRBO is all the calendars need to be in sync. And there's two different ways to sync these calendars. Most people use the iCalendar format. That format is where at a certain time period, every minute, every 5 minutes, every 10 minutes, the Airbnb goes out, it checks this other calendar, and then goes back. And then if there's any new reservations from that calendar, it copies them onto the Airbnb calendar. But Airbnb still keeps its own calendar, VRBO keeps its own calendar, and our direct site would keep its own calendar. And in that type of a system, there are a lot of potential for double bookings, because if it doesn't check quick enough in this in-between period, you can have two people book the same time period, and if it doesn't happen to check in the time period that they both booked, you can get a double booking. Many people we know here have had that problem. So we chose to use a property management software that does not use that method. It doesn't use iCalendar. It uses an API, and basically what it boils down to is our master calendar is in our website. So our website and our property management software handles the master calendar. Airbnb does not have a calendar for our site, neither does VRBO. When somebody goes to look at our availability through Airbnb or VRBO, it goes and basically looks at our master calendar through the API and then shows that master calendar to the guests. So Airbnb does not keep a separate calendar, neither does VRBO. This way there's no possibility of double bookings, because to book, Airbnb has to go back to our property management calendar and block off that date. So it does that totally during the booking process. When you say book these nights, Airbnb goes and to our property management calendar, the main calendar, master calendar, and blocks those nights, and then comes back and says, okay, you've got your reservation. If somebody else got in there from our our direct website and had booked those nights while the person on Airbnb was still looking before they hit book. When Airbnb went to block those nights on the calendar, it would show them as booked, and it would come back and tell the Airbnb guest, okay, those nights are no longer available. So this prevents double bookings 100%. It's definitely worth it, because the worst thing you ever want is to have two guests showing up at the same time and think they're both booked onto your property and you don't have anything else available, and somebody's going to be really upset. We also use that because it's totally integrated with booking and taking payments and doing refunds all through the automated system. So it's very seamless for us. It's very safe for the customer, and we have not had any problems. It's just as safe and as reliable as booking through Airbnb or VRBO. Now, some people just feel more comfortable going through Airbnb or VRBO. If you do, that's totally fine, and you can book through those sites. Would we do anything different now, a year into renting, with our business model? And I would say absolutely not. We are very happy with how we've been running the resort. It's worked very well. It's going to be very scalable to up to our 5 villas when we build more villas. And right now, I am very happy doing the maintenance and all that. I love it, and I go down there and do it every morning. And our customers are very happy with the setup. Like I said, some of them want their full privacy. We never even interact with them the entire time they're here. Other customers come out and talk to us all the time and want to interact, and that's totally fine too. We do that regularly with our customers, especially a lot of our customers that are from YouTube or from, have seen our channel. We had always planned to be involved with the business up through the time probably that we get the other 3 villas built and all 5 villas up and running. And in the beginning, we did everything. We've cleaned the villas many times between guests. Everything else I do anyway. So we have been doing all of the different jobs in the resort for the entire time that we've had it. Now, we have cleaners now. They're fantastic, and they take care of all the cleaning and all the stain removal, all that type of thing. Once in a while, I'll help them out on stain removal. I'm pretty good at getting stains out. I've been able to get almost every stain out of everything that has ever been stained. And if you have an Airbnb, you know that stains are a way of life. Almost every single guest leaves stains on linens or towels. It takes 3 loads of laundry, a flip at least, 1 for the sheets, 1 for the white towels, 1 for the pool towels. And then there's also dark towels that kind of wait and go into different loads. Eventually, when we get all 5 villas up and running, we at some point are going to step back and have no involvement in the day-to-day operations of the business. And so then we'll have to find somebody to do all the tasks that we do now. Somebody needs to manage all the rentals, all the check-ins and check-outs, and do all that. Somebody would need to manage the landscape maintenance, the pool maintenance, and then maintenance, property maintenance on anything that breaks, or preventative maintenance on like the air conditioning units, cleaning them every couple weeks, everything else that goes along with running the resort. By the time we get 5 villas up and running, we will have enough revenue that we should be able to hire a full-time person to do all that maintenance. And I don't know if it'll be like a full-time job that will hire somebody and they will handle everything, the cleaning, the maintenance, everything, or if it would be a part-time job for a couple different people. But either way, we're going to eventually get it all set up so that we have no involvement whatsoever. And that, of course, will take our revenue down because you've got to hire people to do all those tasks that we're doing now. But once we're at 5 villas, we'll still have enough revenue to provide the more than enough money that we need to live here. In closing, we have really set up a business that I would call a medium low touch Airbnb kind of hybrid model. The model that we have works fantastic for us and our guests seem to love it. So we are gonna keep going with that model, and business has been really good. So Airbnbs here in Loreto, or rentals of any kind, are doing very good. You know, we are a tourist town. This town, basically 90% probably of the GDP from this town is derived from tourism, and the future looks bright here at Pufferfish Villas in Loreto. So thanks everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed hearing about the way we do our rental business here and how the business is in Mexico. And never forget to live before you die.